Turn on the radio. My homie got a new show and it's time to play it though. I hope you got in tune. He talking bigger business. He make a lot of moves.
Welcome to the Startup Showcase. I'm your host, Scott Katoon. Thank you for joining us here on this it's a decent Saturday. I don't feel like this is a crazy winter. It's cold, but at least it's not snowing. So, getting a lot of heaven. So, we will be back after this. Welcome back to the Startup Showcase. Time for the Startup Showcase portion of the show. Ricky's still standing by with me. Naresh Mulchandani is on the phone. He's the CEO, founder of Fretch. You can check it out. I assume it's Fretch.com. If not, you should check out republic.co/Fretch, and you can play along with us, bust your wallets out, connect everything up so you can invest right alongside of us. Naresh, are you there?
I am, yes.
Awesome. Okay, so I think you know the drill here. We're gonna do a countdown, and then you're gonna have 1 minute to pitch your business, and then we'll do a little bit of Q&A, and Ricky and I are gonna ask you a little bit more about your business.
Sure thing.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Hi, my name is Naresh. I run a company called Fretch in New York. So picture a 10-pound bag of rice. If you're South Asian like me, that 10-pound bag of rice, along with 100 other spices and condiments, is as essential as milk and eggs to me. But you can't really get this bag of rice in your neighborhood grocery stores. The international aisles there are really a joke, and no one's really delivering this kind of stuff. Your Amazons and Walmarts are not delivering this. So this problem of high dependence on ethnic food, yet poor access, is one that's shared by many, many ethnicities, whether you're Indian or you're Chinese or Filipino or say you're Middle Eastern or you're South American. This is a problem that's shared across the board. And we're talking about 25% of the U.S. population, or 81 million diverse people buying ethnic groceries worth over $100 billion every year. Fretch delivers ethnic groceries right to your doorstep. We've delivered over 25,000 orders so far, and we're growing organically. We're doing over $1 million in annual revenue run rate right now, and we're highly scalable. And last bit, if I could add, is that we're profitable.
Very cool. All right, so here's the deal. I mean, I look at this, and Ricky, I think, can even speak better, than me to this. And I think you've got a real problem that you're solving for, to be totally honest. I mean, not just we, like as in millennials and we in the tech community, but we as Americans, I think, tend to zero in on our Instagram feed, and that's like all we see, and we don't really think about it. Like Grubhub, like, oh, Grubhub solves this problem, or Click at Mariano's, like it solves the problem. Obviously, it works. But I don't think we think of other people in the community who are from different backgrounds who have different needs for food. And they don't, culturally, maybe they don't just order pre-cooked food. They actually enjoy the art of cooking as a family and feeding as a family. So I think it's a huge opportunity. And you mentioned before, I don't know if you mentioned this, but you have 25,000 orders delivered, over 5,000 unique customers, 70% repeat customer rate, which means obviously people are coming back, which is great. Ricky,
right.
Do you have any questions in particular to Naresh about this?
Naresh, so, it was only a quick minute, so how does the distribution or the supplier side are you delivering it to the actual consumer or the small markets?
No, yeah, we are delivering it right to the customer. So we're delivering it to their households, and we have a warehouse and a distribution network that we work with, and we store the goods in our warehouse, package them, and deliver them to right to their doorstep.
So one thing that kind of caught my eye about this pitch was, and if you could fill in the blanks here, I don't think most people, particularly those listening who might be considering this as an investment, I don't think they understand how the marketplace actually operates. Like, I'm used to going to Trader Joe's or whatever and getting my poison there and cooking all of my things or whatever it is. I don't go to marketplaces. I used to work in commercial real estate, and we had an Asian grocery that we put in there, and I was totally confounded by like how they actually filled the store, like what the times of delivery, especially if it's like very seafood heavy, was like really early in the morning. Mm-hmm. There's all kinds of weird things that go on. Walk us through how this solves that problem, whereas maybe, other people don't understand that.
Right. So, I mean, there are logistics on our end that we have to work with, in terms of, what time the drivers get out, what time the drivers, get to the customers and so on. But, ultimately what you're trying to solve for is, absence of time or lack of time, where you have a busy family, you have kids going to school, and, have a working, husband and wife. They don't really have time to go, outside of their, of the city locations, just to get their own ethnic foods. So I am from India, so we really depend on cooking our own ethnic food. So, but the problem was that when I moved to Manhattan, we had to travel at least an hour one way just to get our ethnic goods, and that really was a personal problem that I was trying to solve.
That's the
thing that we're trying to solve here.
Yeah, that's the thing that's really interesting to me is like that. I know this from just like random times that like my family would want to cook different kinds of food, whether it was Polish food or whatever it was. We would always have to drive to like Skokie or like ways away from where I was. There wasn't a place that I could just go to the store and get it. You got to go to Italian town or Greek town or Chinatown to get these things. It's not centrally located. So if you just look at the sheer like demographic makeup of any major city, like you talk about New York, obviously, but Chicago or wherever, I think that most people who would be your customer don't live right there next to wherever like their town is that they'd be able to get all this stuff. So I got to think you've got a gigantic market that you can serve.
Right. Yeah, we think so too. I mean, so as I mentioned, it's we're talking 25% of the U.S. population that that we consider as ethnic or associates with an ethnicity, and the grocery store sales in the U.S. in the last year was about $640 billion, and if you look at just 10 to 15%, which our estimate is, that's a $100 billion market size that that we're looking at.
So I mean, cool. It's like we all want instant gratification.
Yes.
So Fretch is the capacity as far as turnaround time on what a customer would expect. And I'm saying this because I know with Instacart, we've been experiencing now, you try to order your food first thing in the morning. Sometimes they don't have the capacity to deliver until the next day. I mean, how is that experience with you guys?
Right. So, I mean, it's a little, fine line that you kind of have to walk. Of course, customers expect instant gratification. They expect 2-hour deliveries. That's not always possible, but, if it is to be possible, then it comes with a cost. The higher cost, a driver, driving, half hour just to get to one customer. So there is cost associated with it, which is, of course, going to come from the customer's pocket. Or they would be willing to, maybe work with the cost, lower the cost, agree to a slightly delayed delivery, and it's the customer's option. We provide those options, and it's up to the customer to pick what they like.
So I want to end on this one. Ricky brought up kind of a good point when he mentioned Instacart. So I look at this market in particular, and I think like you have, you could look at it competitively, but you could also look at it as like a huge opportunity in the sense that there are. Like Amazon obviously is crushing and putting a lot of pressure on the Instacarts of the world. And so there's this like trouble that perhaps you run into on that side. But in all reality, you're so niche and it's so unique, and the user base is not the same. They don't have the same user behaviors as the general pop, if you want to call it that. And I wonder, are you looking at this as something that either becomes, you grow this into like an ethnic Instacart, literally, or is it something you're looking at like I can roll this into an acquisition, and that like Amazon or any of these other ones could acquire you, and in doing so put immense pressure on the Instacarts of the world because of the reality that you represent 25% of their market? That's insane. Like I got to think you're looking at that thinking that there's a move here.
Right. I mean, there's many exit opportunities here, but the way we're looking at it is that because we're niche, we've kind of made all of these guys into indirect competition rather than direct competition, and so that gives us a little breathing room, so we can grow to a substantial size, get to multiple markets before they start thinking, I guess, and add as a complementary piece to any of their services. Be it
totally agree.
Amazon, be it Walmart, so on.
Very cool. I love this. I really do. I like this a lot. People should go and check it out. Republic.co/Fetch. Fretch. And, thank you so much for calling in. Best of luck to you.
Yeah, my pleasure.